next question is, I find myself always comparing my life to others around me. How do I stop doing this?
Can we just state the obvious? Get off Instagram.
It is true. Just take a break. Take a break from social media. Even a short break. If you don't think it's impacting you, if you think, well, that's not the issue, well, just try getting off of it for a week, 2 weeks, a month, and just see if it's different. See if that's making a difference in your comparison cycle.
I can look on social media. You said Instagram. You look on social media. What you see is probably not reality.
Well, it's
your
snapshots.
perception.
It's little glimpses. You're not seeing the whole 24/7 life.
And you're not seeing the whole journey. I mean, if someone is actually walking in the success that they present, that took a journey, right?
Yeah,
it took sacrifices. It took whatever the journey entailed, but we don't always see that. We just say, well, look at this.
Yeah.
And we don't realize the journey. And another thing that, since we are talking about like social media, I think you have to recognize, like when you see a post or when you see a story or a reel, you have to understand that most of these are staged.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So they only show you what they want you to see.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're comparing yourself, it could just be to a half truth. You ever see those posts where you see someone looking out the window of a plane? They're like, I'm traveling, but it was actually a picture of them looking out of the dryer, and how they like
manipulated it.
It made it look.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm talking about. Just because you see it doesn't make it true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're just judging your life based on false perception, I mean, that would be frustrating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think another response to this of how to stop comparing is to have compassion on yourself, because you are not in the shoes of anyone but yourself. And I was just talking with a mom in our church, and her kids are grown now, but she was talking about how she used to compare so much to other mothers, and she used to really put herself down because she wasn't doing what other mothers were doing. I mean, you look on like Pinterest, like bento box moms, and like they're making their own like crunchy moms. They're making their own granola, and they're like using organic everything. And the internet can paint this picture, and that could be someone else's choice, and that could be someone else's capacity. That could be someone else's budget. That could be someone else's life. There is nothing wrong with that.
Skill level too.
Yeah, it could be their time, their ability, all of those things.
Well, a funny example of that is I used to do lunch for our school. You had to do parental duties, and one of the things that I did was help out with lunch. And there was a girl there that had that lunch that had the vegetables cut up into shapes, and they were in their own compartment. And I thought, wow, there's actually people like this.
Do that, yeah. There are.
My kids didn't have that, but I was like, wow, that's amazing.
But then this mom, she said, and her circumstance, she had 5 children in 5.5 years.
Yeah.
She had to realize and have compassion on her own situation that it was survival of the fittest. If everyone was alive at the end of the day, if everyone had been fed and was clothed and was safe, that was a huge success. Can you imagine having 5 toddlers at one time? I mean, the circumstance is very, very different from person to person. And so stop looking at someone else's life and saying that their life looks exactly like yours, because it doesn't. So when you can actually look objectively and have compassion on yourself, you're going to be able to celebrate them and not put them down, not feel jealous, not compare, not put yourself down. You'll actually be able to celebrate what they're doing and recognize where you're at and be okay with where you're at, because that is the truth. That is where you are at today, and that your responsibility is to do your level best, no one else's. And often we put that pressure on ourselves. But no one is expecting you to be like them. And if they are, that's their issue. That's their false expectation. So just have compassion on yourself. And that's really a huge key in stopping this comparison journey. with other people.
I think you also have to understand that when you compare yourself to others, it clouds your vision.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're always trying to fit into what other people are doing instead of being uniquely who you've been created to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think a lot of times we compare ourselves to others, or we see what other people are doing and we want to reproduce that. But I would encourage you to step out, confront your fear, and start that adventure that God has for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You'll just be stuck in this spin cycle of like, well, look at what this person is doing. And hey, listen, comparing yourself to others is like a human problem.
Yeah.
It's just not a you problem.
Yeah.